in the European sphere, in the very early American sphere, people were without much freedom because of the system of the authority of the leaders and everything being validated through the authority of those leaders. So whether it was the leaders in the church or the ministers of the king, and all the way down into the family structure, the father, it was a one unified system so that people were held in control. And people's freedom in almost any matter, no matter how personal, was considered a correct area for the exertion of official authority over people's thinking, over everything.
Yes.
So in the future, we will have again another warrior age, another Kshatriyan era. And my question is, does that necessarily mean the elevation of particular personalities to have great, like a dominant role within the society, and their favors and their interests and their approvals ending up being a type of comprehensive control of people?
All right, very good question, very good. So there is a difference between the different eras of human society. And in the different aspects of society, dominated by different different personalities, it is not that they are dominated by different personalities or people, but they are dominated by different value systems. So the current era of Vaishyan society is the value of the merchant to be the value. What is valued is those who can produce abundance. They can produce more money, more power, more of a product. And power is given to those who have this capacity for excelling in production of goods and supplies to the society. This is the merchant class. And with this comes a value of individual initiative and individual creativity. The shadow side of this individual initiative and creativity is greed. That people become greedy. People think of themselves and not the larger good of the human race. They identify with their particular group, and they put the advantage of their group over others. And in their greed, they cannot stop themselves from wanting to achieve more, to accomplish more, to have more, even at the cost of the survival of the human race. So you find today great corporations wanting to drill the earth for oil and create machines which will use that oil, even though the byproduct is toxic gases which are destroying the planet, making an intolerable atmosphere for human life. And even in the great warning signs of species dying and of those intelligent beings who can analyze the situation, the scientists, telling them what is wrong. Still they want to do this because the drive of the Vaishyan mentality, not of individuals particularly, but of a mentality that dominates the society, is such that it will continue at any cost to dominate, to be controlling of the society. And though it's causing the potential destruction of everything, as long as in the immediate short term there can be power and money and benefit, and they are the most wealthy, they achieve, the individuals who do this achieve the desired outcome of the Vaishyan mentality. So it is not so much a person, but an archetypal mentality that dominates the society. It has great benefits under certain circumstances. But as with all things, when it comes to its fruition, it begins to decay. And then this same mentality, which has been under different circumstances very beneficial to the society, becomes toxic, begins to actually choke the society to death. And so you find today, at the end of an age, an end of a type of mentality, a toxic situation in which the very survival of the human species is at stake. And if change does not occur, the human beings will cease to be on this planet. And there is a great awareness of people that this is the problem. Yet they are under the dominance of a certain archetypal psychology, and they don't know how to change. Naturally, those people who embody that archetypal psychology to the maximum will be the leaders of the society. The ones who are good at promoting this type of business deal. But when an age comes to a close, to one degree or another, it becomes, the psychology on which that age is built becomes destructive. And at the end of the Vaishyan era, destruction is very apparent. And through the Vikupta Shudra, the disposed intellectuals, the scientists, the philosophers, the intelligentsia, who are not in power, they are screaming, wait, we are destroying the planet. Those people eventually get heard. They lead the revolution of the masses, the Shudra, the ordinary people. And a change takes place. The ordinary people begin to shift the dynamic. The way this manifests at different ages, different stages of development of society, can be very, very different. It can look like a violent revolution. It can just be a revolution of thought and ideas. It varies in the age and the society. But this will lead to a need for a restructuring. And that restructuring, which can stabilize the society again, is Kshatriyan. Kshatriyans are disciplined. Those who rise to the top are those who have honor, a sense of duty, a sense of sacrifice of the individual to the greater whole, to the good of the society, and who will put the society above their individual needs. They become the heroes of the society, the ones who are respected, who are given the lead. They are very disciplined. And in ages past, this has been associated with the military, but not necessarily. These are disciplined people of discipline and order who put the greater good of the society above the individual. Honor, duty, and the greater good are the pole star of the society. And those who embody that become the leaders. Naturally, Kshatriyan society has its shadow as well. It is hard for those of a Vaishya society who are so accustomed to individual initiative being the prominent, rewarded factor, and possession of wealth being so important, to give way to those who are orderly and disciplined and put the greater good above the individual. So in such a society, in a Kshatriyan society, there is a different value system. And the individual must align themselves in the greater good of the society. And there will be strict order in the society to see that this happens. And like all phases, the beginning of a Kshatriyan society is very, very positive. It is a caring society which cares for every person in the society, creates a social network, governs the whole society so that the people benefit. And people, for the most part, willingly participate in the curtailment of their individual rights and freedoms for the welfare and the greater good of all. And the society can greatly, a healthy Kshatriyan society can bring the collective force of living beings together. And all will prosper. And the individual life will not be affected, will not feel stifled, but will be part of a greater whole. Military forces are run in this way, and so it is often called a military society, but it is not military. A military society is only an example, and it is not run by dictators. It is run by those with the honor, the collective good, and the duty to humanity as their dominant forces. And those noble individuals who are the most noble will be praised with the highest praise. But Khatriyan societies, like Vaishyan societies, when they reach their apex and begin to degenerate, their negative side can come more and more to light until finally this binding needs to change and a new set of values needs to dominate the society. Like this, it moves from age to age to age, and the pattern of society changes so that society may grow, evolve, and sustain. In all of this, the binding principles, the creative forces, the sustaining forces, and the forces of chaos and dissolution find their pattern in society. A change is taking place now in the world. A change born of desperation. And the looming potential of annihilation. But that change will require the unbinding of many of the values and forces that lead the society today. The more stuck the society is in its patterns that have ceased to be functional, the more chaos occurs in the change. The more rapid the unbinding and the reforming. It is natural when a way of life is coming to an end, that those who want to sustain it, even in its degenerative and corrupt form, will try to hold on to recreate the power and abundance of what has been. but they cannot. Their efforts will fail, and the people will see how what has been will not work, and the people will search for new answers. Because people want to survive. It is their foremost instinct. All right? Does this answer your question?
I think that's sufficient. Thank you very much. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Namaskar.